What's up, YouTube family? How's it going, everybody out there? We're gonna go ahead and get this workout started today. As you know, we're gonna be doing it every day. I've got the chat up here on the laptop so I can see when you guys join. Let me know what you want to talk about, where you're from, if you got questions, comments, feedback, whatever. Otherwise, we're gonna get into this workout. One of the things that I want to show everybody is that this is the same workout as yesterday. All full body, every day, same thing, doesn't change. You don't have to do it that way. We could get into why I do it that way. But with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully the connection is working here. I think it is. What's up, Avanti? How you doing, Avanti? Good to see you, good to see you. Let me know how you're doing. I got the stream set up today. It looks like we had like a 30-second to a minute lag doing the stream through YouTube's app. So I switched it up. Should be able to see messages close to real time today, hopefully. So we're gonna start out with 40 pounds. 40 pounds on some curls. You know, let's get into it. Because at the end of the day, this whole series is about efficiency, about making videos, talking about the buffs, talking about fitness, politics, whatever we want to talk about, while I'm just going about my day as normal. I'll be doing this anyway, so it's I'm very grateful and honored to be able to do it with any of you out there who are spending your time with me. I appreciate you. All right, let's get into it. Some curls. No momentum, good form. Slow eccentric. And we're gonna do it everything until the good form starts to break down. That's when we know that we've stimulated the muscle and primed it for growth, baby. You know. I got you, Avanti. What does alt left mean to me? I got you. Think about that for a second. How to answer you best. Burning out these biceps on the curls. All right, we're gonna talk about what the alt left means to me. Honestly, it means very little to me. And that might be weird considering we're calling this the alt-left pipeline. It's kind of a joke because it's kind of just a response to the alt-right pipeline that has funneled so many young men to these podcasters, grifters, charlatans, who basically just want to sell them ads, products, supplements, whatever it is, attack critical thinking. Anyway, you know what the alt-right pipeline is. And the alt-left pipeline is kind of a joke because the alt-right pipeline tries to tell these lonely people out there that are looking for a community, especially young men, that the right is the side of manliness, of masculinity, yada, yada, yada. And the alt-left pipeline is just saying, no, it's not. Man, it's kind of a joke. It's just to say, hey, let's do manly, masculine things, which there's nothing manlier or more masculine than gratitude, honesty, courage. And if you have all those things, you have empathy. And so the alt-left pipeline is just to say, hey man, you don't have to hate your neighbor. You don't have to hate and be divided against other working class people. You don't have to be a jerk to feel manly or masculine. In fact, that's not manly or masculine. Love is manly and masculine. Taking care of the vulnerable people is manly and masculine. So the alt-left pipeline, Avanti says, I'm a moderate, so I just like to hear perspectives. Personally, I believe alt-right and alt-left are bad. As a moderate, I feel if you go too far either side, it's bad. Life is more black and white than those extremes, in my opinion. In a perfect world, or not even a perfect world, in a world before MAGA, I believe with you. I believe you. I agree with you is what I'm trying to say. I think that it's gotten so bad that it's driving people like me, who I used to have been moderate like you. That's how I would have identified. These people have driven me to say, you know what, whatever that is, I'm not that. I'm the opposite of that. And I believe in universal health care. That's what we have in the military. That's what our senators and Congress people get. So it's good enough for our representatives, but not for our most downtrodden citizens. That's not right to me. Universal education. Anybody from any background that wants to become a doctor, that wants to become an architect, a lawyer, a plumber, a trash man, whatever they want to become, we as a society have a vested interest in helping them get the best education so that we have the people who want to be surgeons who are surgeons, people who want to be teachers who are teachers, and the cost of education is not holding them back to get there. So it's not that it's completely meaningless to me. It's just to say that, man, a lot of it is just the reaction to how extreme MAGA has gotten against decent people. So I'm gonna think about it more. I'm gonna keep going. Let's mark down our set of curls. We're gonna probably do 3 sets of everything. We're gonna do lateral raises for the shoulders. Lateral raises for the shoulders. We're gonna start off with 25 pounds. And we wanna do a weight that we can hold at the top. We wanna do a weight that we can hold at the top for 1 second. And otherwise, we're putting our shoulder joints at risk, especially as we get older. And then again, when form starts to break down on any of these exercises, that's when we call it a set. All right, let's get into it. And we can't go all the way up anymore. We're not gonna force it. We're not gonna use momentum. We're not gonna swing. We're gonna do partials. These are partials. My muscles, my shoulder muscles are cooked. This is all they got. And we're just gonna keep going, keep the muscle under tension because that's where the stimulus happens until the shoulders are cooked. All right, there we go. That's a set. Next up, all right, we got the lateral raises, we got triceps next. Let me set a little something up here in the background. All right, yeah, I want to make it clear too that I welcome debates and conversations, disagreements, point of views, perspectives from anybody who has these things. If you have gratitude for your life, that means you realize that whatever you lack, whatever you don't have, what you do have is something somebody else wishes they had too. Gratitude applies up and down everybody. The honesty is to say, there before the grace of God go I. That's the most common saying that I know. To put these two together is to say, I could have woke up today and been blind, been incapacitated, yada yada, on and on. You guys know what I mean. And then you have the courage to say, because of these two things, I have empathy for other people who don't have it as good as me. And that doesn't mean you break yourself. You know, you have to give from a full cup, but you don't ignore this. You don't turn away when good people are being kidnapped and sent to concentration camps, separated from their families, on and on. Again, we can talk about it, different viewpoints, but I pretty much draw the line at like humanity for our fellow man. You know, like for people who just don't care about other people, we're never gonna get along. If you care about other people and you wanna help fix society and you wanna build a community around love and liberty, which are the two things every human being wants for themselves. Every human being, it's what we have in common, desires love and they desire liberty. And if you're willing to give other people those two things and to help other people grow that in society, then we're gonna get along fine. And we can talk about anything. Let's get these triceps. We go straight up in the air. We want the upper arm to stay straight up and down. And I gotta count these, so I do the same on both sides. When form starts to break down, we're done. All right, call that 9, hit the other side. All right, 9 on each side. That's triceps. All right, next we got Romanian deadlifts. We do these for the hamstrings, back of the legs, and there's a lot of different ways you can do hamstrings. But when you have limited weight and you're at home, this is one of my favorite ways. These dumbbells go up to 45 pounds. So we got 90 pounds, which is not a lot for a deadlift. So let me tell you what I do, what you do, what anybody can do to get a great workout that still gets your muscles as much growth as you can get in a gym, but just with the tools you have available. In a little bit, you'll see me do some body weight squats. It's not the squats you're thinking of. It's a different kind called quad squats. I will show you, but let me get back to it. With these 90 pounds, what I'm gonna do to cook my hamstrings is I'm gonna fully load my hamstrings. I'm gonna drive my hips back, which pulls my hamstrings tight right there, and the weight's gonna pull me down, and I want the hamstrings pulled like a bowstring, as tight as possible, and you're gonna dwell in that stretch, in that discomfort, because that's where the growth happens. Just like in the well-off video you guys saw, the team meeting, one of the coaches was talking about diamonds form under pressure. So do muscles. You take a moderate amount of weight and you fully load that muscle and you stay there where it hurts and you keep that tension the whole time, you will cook that muscle. And a lot of times you're able to do it when you use less weight. You're putting less risk to your body, which is, as we get older, you know, that's crucial. So let's get these Romanian deadlifts for the hamstrings. I'll show you what I'm talking about. These wrist straps just take my grip out of it. So the only thing holding the weight is gonna be my hamstrings. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking after I get going. I'm gonna talk you through the first one. Hips drive back, pulling the hamstrings tight. The hamstrings are stretching, stretching, stretching. Only not rounding the lower back. Now that's getting into the lower back. I just want the hamstrings tight like a bowstring. Stand up in it. Get right back in it. And you could be somebody who deadlifts 200-300 pounds and still cook your hamstrings with 245 dumbbells if you dwell in the tension. You want to get that muscle quiver, and that's how you know it's activated. I call it marinating in the shake. Marinate in the shake. That's where the growth is. It's all original music, by the way. We're making our own music for the workouts. Even just talking for a second, I lost like the mental connection with my hamstrings. Now I gotta get it back. This exercise can target a lot of different muscles. You need to have good mind-body connection, because I'm only trying to target the hamstrings right now. Getting close. Got a few more. Alright, that's good for a set. So it might take more reps going slower to make less weight equal more weight, which is how you make up for not being in a gym with barbells and plates. But you can do it, and that's what I'm gonna show you guys every day. We do the same workout every day, every day. It's boring, it's not fancy, but it works. It's all you need. It's the whole body. It's hitting everything. All right, we just hit our hamstrings. We got rows up next for the back muscles. Let me see. We got anything in the chat? Avanti says, do you consider yourself a leftist or liberal or both? Both. We could talk about that. If you have questions about what it means that I would consider myself both, let me know. Otherwise, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Avanti says, when I was in college, in middle school, in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, I met a lot of conservatives who weren't MAGA and vice versa. Was wondering if it's the same on y'all's side and those differences. Let me read that again. I definitely know a lot of conservatives who aren't MAGA. And a lot of MAGA who aren't conservatives, that I don't know about. You have to explain to me a MAGA who's not a conservative. I definitely know conservatives who aren't MAGA. And I got no problem. Hey, we can talk fiscal responsibility, we can talk economics, we can talk taxes, you know, those traditional conservative policies all day. But when you want to talk about taking somebody's liberty away because they're different, that's where we're going to start having a problem. What I meant with that is ones who were mainly MAGA. I just said vice versa in the moment. Yeah, like, okay, I know people who found MAGA through the alt-right pipeline who don't really know what conservative, liberal, Republican, or Democrat even means. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, I know those people too. And those people are usually the most hateful, most grimy, not always, but I mean, you're talking about people who, okay, I was gonna say Andrew Tate, because that's a horrible example. Andrew Tate is pretty much everything opposite of what I stand for, as much as I know about him. But Joe Rogan, somebody that I used to like, somebody I used to respect, is somebody I think who brought people to MAGA who don't even really know about politics, don't know about economics. They're the ones choosing it because they think it's cool to pick on marginalized people, or it makes them feel better to talk trash about, you know, people who have blue hair or whatever. Like, who cares? And the fact that Joe Rogan knows better than that and he still feeds into it, I don't like that about him. But you ask about people who were, so we talked about there's some people who are conservative who are not MAGA. I have a large part of my family from Indiana. Some of them are conservative and they're not MAGA. So yeah, 100% I know those people. And I have no problem with those people because they're not trying to take other people's rights away. If they're the type of people trying to force their religion on other people, I'm not cool with that. But a lot of those people are not. I think Coach Prime may be conservative, but he stays out of politics, so we don't really know. But I know that he's not for picking on people. I know that he's for helping fund education in an impoverished area. I know that he's for feeding people who, you know, need food. I'd love to know how he feels about healthcare. These are all things we can debate. Somebody being kidnapped and taken from their family, to me, is not open for debate. That's crazy. Without trial, without due process, an entire party voting to hide the Epstein files is unacceptable to me. I identify as the opposite of all of those Republicans who vote to help hide Donald Trump and the Epstein files. Studies have shown a lot of young men are going MAGA. Do you think the left ignoring and not focusing as much on men issues are a part? Avanti, that's literally what the alt-left pipeline is. Yes, 1,000%. This is why this is happening now. Exactly what you just said. Because MAGA focused on the young men, and so that's what the alt-left pipeline is going to do now. And the name is a joke, like I said in the beginning. But the issue is serious because the idea that Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, any of them are more manly than me, a Marine, and they're selling that to kids, and most of the people, and that, like Lindsey Graham, like y'all know what these people look like, Mitch McConnell, like these people are disgusting, they're sloppy. Like, hey man, all bodies are beautiful, people can look however they want. But don't be sloppy and nasty as Donald Trump and telling me about physical fitness. Don't be like that and telling me that you're healthy. And like putting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in charge of the health. All of that, man, is what I cannot abide. That's the whole reason for the alt-left pipeline. It's to say, if you guys are gonna funnel these young men into hate and bigotry, those of us who really do this, who can survive in the woods by themselves with nothing but what I got on my back, anywhere, save maybe the Arctic. But even the Arctic, I'm gonna have a chance. Donald Trump's not gonna have a chance left alone in the Arctic. Come on, man, what are we talking about? And I don't even want to say stuff like that, but they force us to, when they do, funnel all these young men who basically don't have good role models into thinking that hurting people is masculine or manly, bigotry is masculine or manly. It's not. And so Afro Think Tank Media is who turned me on to the alt-left pipeline. If you really want to know what it's about, better than I'm explaining it, check out Afro Think Tank Media. His videos on that will get you up to speed. Hey, I appreciate you, Avanti, as always. Avanti knows a lot of people who went MAGA because they felt they were the only ones listening to them. That's true. So I'm here to listen, and you know, these videos stay up after the live, and I'm tagging them with the keywords hopefully these young men are looking for. And my message to any young men out there, hey, you want to get in shape, you want to get your nutrition dialed in, you want to learn how to, look, I'm working out in the corner of our condo, 2 dumbbells and a bench, man. Whatever you got, I can work with you. I can get you a plan. Sometimes we're going to take the stream out to the park where we do some pull-ups, we do some suspended push-ups, we do Nordic curls, what else do we do over there? Dips, and we do this exercise in a different way. What I'm trying to say is I will help you for free. You need help with your love life, with romance, hit me up, man. Your Uncle Love and Liberty. I don't want to say I got life figured out because I don't want to jinx anything. Like I don't want to be ungrateful. But man, my life is dialed in. I'm happy. And I could stop right there and just be like, hey, I'm good. I don't need to get into any of this. I don't need to touch this stuff. This stuff is going to make people unsubscribe. It's going to turn some people off. But I would not be being honest with myself because I know what the other side is doing and what they're saying is wrong. And knowing that it's wrong is not enough. I have to have the courage to stand here and use my platform and my channel to say, hey young men, hey old men, hey uncles, aunties, everybody in between, we gotta have empathy. We all want love and liberty. That's what we all want. We don't get it without empathy. We don't get empathy without these 3 things. So hey man, that's what we're here to do. We're here to reach the people is what came to my head. Y'all know why that came to my head. Shout out Darius, Reach the People Media. Definitely if you're somehow seeing this video and you're not subscribed to Reach the People Media or Well Off Media, hey, that's kind of where it all got started for me. Let's get these rows in. We're gonna be targeting our lats. If you don't know what lats are, Google it, you'll see. I'm gonna try to keep my elbows tucked. And when the form starts to break down, I'm gonna do partials. All right, let's go. As you guys can see, form in every exercise is paramount. Ain't no pride in doing heavier weights when you put your body and your joints at risk. If you don't do everything with perfect form, you're only hurting yourself. You're putting your own work at risk. You're gonna put in that work, you're gonna use that energy in a way that could hurt you instead of grow you. Nah, man. Use lightweight, perfect form, and learn how to burn the muscles out with what you got. And if you don't know, hit me up. I'll help you for free. All right, form's breaking down. These are partials. Till the lats are cooked, baby. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Lightweight, still cook the muscles. You know how to put yourself in the right positions and use it correctly. All right, presses. Work the chest. Avanti says, you mentioned the deportation thing a lot and I get you. Obama deported millions, but he went about it way better. Concentration camps, deporting to countries they're not even from, it's wild and lazy. So, agree, everything you're saying is facts. I think Obama doing the Dreamer Act counters some of what I'm gonna say, but I have a problem with deportation, again, because of my gratitude and honesty. My family's been here since the 1600s, but when they came over here, they didn't do nothing but put their name on a piece of paper. Some of them were given land, okay? I didn't grow up rich by any means, very middle class, but because I'm grateful and I'm honest, I know my middle class was way higher than a lot of the people that I went into the Marines with, that I've worked with in my life, who had it way worse. So I don't have the courage to say, my family only had to sign a piece of paper to come here. Why should I make it harder for you? How can I say that and not be a hypocrite? Because I'm afraid that you coming here is, I can't compete. I don't like fair competition now. I thought we were capitalists. I thought we liked competition. So those are my thoughts on immigration. Agree with you in that I'm not gonna start making videos during Obama's administration because I'm like, hey, even though I feel everything I just said, I know that if people go through the system, that they're gonna be able to live here under Obama. I know that he's mainly focusing on people who are just middle fingers up to the system, doing it whatever they want, you know, and I'm not gonna get up in arms and start videos against those people. That's just a debate where I would let democracy have the final say and say, you know, I vote to let more people in, let them do what my ancestors did, because otherwise I feel that I'm a hypocrite. That's what I would vote for. But I'm not gonna fault you for voting for, nah man, let's make a reasonable list of hoops for these people to jump through that's not overly crazy or burdensome, but you know, just helps them get set up so we know who they are, we know who's coming in, this and that. Okay, I'm not going to even want to debate you that much about that. I'm like, okay, let's vote and see how we come out, and I'm cool with it. If you want to deport illegals, there's a legal process and a correct way of going about it. Exactly. Habeas corpus, due process. Not showing up in unmarked vehicles and clothes and stealing people. Exactly. I feel that the best way to stop illegal immigration is to improve our current system of legal immigration. It's wildly inefficient. Facts on all of that. But they ain't focused on improvement. Exactly. And they, who is they? Who is they? Critical thinking. Who is they? Who is they, y'all? You all know. Tell me who they are. They ain't focused on improvement. They want to divide the working class against itself. They want to distract us from anything and everything but them. Y'all tell me who they are. And you may or may not, you might think that I'm gonna say one thing, I'm gonna say something different. I'm curious what y'all have to say. All right, these presses, the reason that I do this little move right here is I want my pecs, my chest, I want my chest to be at like a 90-degree angle to where the weight is going. So even though this bench is inclined, if I sit on it like this, my chest is kind of facing down, I'm gonna hit the top more. But if I make the bench flat and I lay straight down, I'm gonna hit the bottom more. I really wanna hit the middle, the whole thing. And the best way to do that is to, even though you see, because I'm kind of arching my back, my pecs, you could set something flat right here across them. That's the angle that I want. So that's why I do this little arch move, in case you were wondering. And then, again, this is very lightweight, but we can make it hard by doing 1.5 reps. So normally that's 1, but what we're doing is this is 1. Half up, half down, all the way up, all the way down. That's 1, okay? And that's how you cook your pecs with light weight. And you want full stretch. You see that? You don't want to rush this. You want to dwell in the pain. Dwell in the, not really pain. If it feels like it's not sustainable, you're doing something wrong. But what I mean here is my chest is just stretching wide open. It feels good. If it hurts, but it feels good. It's that kind of hurt. It's that stretch. That's uncomfortable, but it doesn't feel like anything's gonna break. It feels sustainable. That's where we want to dwell. Ooh, right there. That's where we grow our muscles, even with light weight. And when form gets bad, we'll go back to regular reps. All right, now it's cooked. All right, so we got one exercise left in this rotation. So we've done curls, lateral raises, triceps, Romanian deadlifts, rows, presses. Now we're gonna do these quad squats. It's a way to burn out your legs without any body weight. I mean, without any heavy weight. Let's see. Avanti says the current administration is the main ones, but I feel like previous ones have some blame too, because they also weren't focused on improvement, in my opinion. So, yeah, y'all might think that I'm gonna say they is MAGA, and they are, but as Avanti said, they're also previous administrations. But these both work for oligarchs. They is the oligarchs. They control everything. They tune society the way we tune an engine, the way a F1 team tunes an engine. We'll talk about the oligarchs. All right, these squats right here, all politicians are bought. They all have donors. These are the kings of the donors. These are the donors' bosses. The donors are spending money on these people's behalf. You have to know who the oligarchs are. It's not even just American oligarchs. Look at what Qatar, some people say Qatar, Q-A-T-A-R. Read up on what Qatar is doing with the Trump administration right now. I don't even have to say the word Israel, but I will. Russia, England, China, South Africa, it doesn't matter where they're from. France, Italy, Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, wherever they are they. The oligarchs are they. And everything that divides us, normal people, people who just want this for everybody, always traces back to them. Let's get these squats, we'll talk about more. So these squats, what I'm doing is I'm going, try to show you sideways so y'all can see. Basically, I need a hand. I can't do them full body weight yet, but that's the point why we don't need weights. You're going all the way down and back up. See, I couldn't go all the way down. That's why I need the assist. But you got to work up to being able to do these all the way down and back up. Slow motion, no assist. Then you can add weight. That's targeting the quad muscles. These leg muscles in the front, like we did the dead Romanian deadlifts, targets the hamstrings. This is all front. And if you think of a leg press or leg extension machine where you sit and you press the weights out, this is the same thing, but you're just using your body weight. So let's get into it. We're gonna do it till the quads feel cooked. And we don't want to touch at the bottom. That's where the stretch, that's where the tension, that's where that discomfort is. That's where the quads are getting cooked. And so you see, we can work out everything in the corner of a condo with 2 adjustable dumbbells a weight bench. But man, that's not the only at-home way. You can use weight bands. You could use all body weight. If you need help figuring out, say, hey man, I don't want to go to a gym. I can't afford a gym. I don't like to work out in a gym. I want to do it at home, but I don't know what to do. I got you for free. I'll work with you one-on-one, whatever you need, however little, however much, for free, because we're doing the alt-left pipeline. We're getting people away from politics of hate, of division, discrimination, exploitation, sociopathy, ignorance, hate, rage. We bring in love, we bring in gratitude, we bring in the actual traits good people look for in masculinity, not the toxic little boy traits that insecure people use to overcompensate for their own deficiencies and insecurities. Oh, quads are getting cooked. See how I can barely stand up now? That's when you know you're done. But see, that's only one set, because when we come back around, we'll be able to do another 8, something like that. All right, so that's one set. This is the tally mark for how many times we've gone through. Curls, lateral raises, triceps, deadlifts for the hamstrings, rows for the back muscles, presses for the chest, squats for the quads, full body workout. We're gonna be here every day doing it, because I'm gonna do it anyway. And between my family, between my own health and training, and talk about what I'm training for if any of y'all want to know. My family, health and training, work, and recovery, relaxation. Between all of those, I find myself not making these videos because I intend to make much more edited, professional, polished videos. But family, this daily workout, and this is just about 1/3 of my daily training. Work, recovery, I end up not making the videos. I still do my live streams of the buff stuff, because that's easy like this. I'm gonna be there anyway. I show up, turn on the camera. So I'm gonna be doing this every single day anyway. So I'll just show up and turn on the camera. And the idea is to build community. Let me show you how this works. Community over oligarchs. We will win. We build a community around love and liberty. Oh, and why is this the Love and Liberty channel? Why did you buy loveandliberty.com 15 years ago? Because these young men, young women, old women, aunties, uncles, cousins, everybody, love and liberty are the two things that every human being on earth, I don't even have to speak your language. I don't have to know anything about your religion or your background. I know that you want love. I know that you want liberty. When we build a community around love and liberty, we will eat the oligarchs, and we will have gratitude, honesty, courage, empathy in society, and we will be debating high-minded things that are reflective of the best of humanity, not the lowest of humanity. Avanti says there's a lot of oligarchs we don't even know exactly. Oligarchs, we don't talk about their everything. I said, you know, they tune society like F1 crews tune a F1 car engine. they have it running exactly the way that they want to, and that includes never look at us. You know, we all hopefully saw The Wizard of Oz when we were kids. These are the men behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Look at the show we're putting on over here. You know, look at the Epstein stuff. Look at the deportation stuff. Look at the, you know, liberal stuff, the Antifa stuff. Don't look at us. Okay, so we're gonna look at you, oligarchs. We're looking at you. We're building a community focused on being better than you because we want love and liberty for everybody. Oligarchs want love and liberty for themselves. Like I said, everybody wants this, so we even have that in common with oligarchs. The difference is they don't care if the other people die. They don't care what happens to other people. They just want theirs, okay? But we know that that's lacking honesty and courage, because there, but for the grace of God, go I. These people could have been born as anyone. We could have been born as anyone. All of our lives could have gone a different way. I have a very dialed in life. I love my life. There is no reason for me to risk making videos like this that will divide people, except for this is an important division, because this is the division between people who want love and liberty for everyone and people who don't. And that has become so pressurized in society that, and especially because I look like the way that I do. I look like this, and especially if I'm wearing a ball cap or I'm going around with my bald head, you know, a shaved headed white dude, and people think, they think that I'm this. And if this wasn't acting like pure evil, I wouldn't care. But because this is teaching young men that everything that's hate and the opposite of true masculinity is what it means to be a man, you make me have to start a channel like this. All right, we back on curls. Let's go. I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk is the most richest person in the world, because he is the richest we know of. He is oligarch number one. It's not actually, there's dynastical families that collectively overshadow him, but they're in the same room. They are on the same team when it comes to being against us. They're on the same team when it comes to exploiting humanity for their own benefit. And if you don't know what a sociopath is, we'll talk about that after we get these curls in. Let's get this set of curls in, and then we'll talk about, when I say there's people who want love and liberty for everybody and there's people who don't, the people who don't are sociopaths. That may sound like an extreme or charged word, but it's really not. I'm gonna explain why after we get this work, baby. All right, rotation 2, curls set 2. We're not gonna use momentum. We're not gonna sway. We're just squeezing the bicep. Good form. When the form breaks down, the set will be done and the muscles are primed for growth. Primed, baby. You can see the reps start to slow down before the form completely breaks down. Ooh, here we go. Maybe one more. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and get another set of shoulders. And then we'll talk about sociopaths. Sociopaths versus good men, I will say. Some people, very few people, are born sociopaths. That's like a tiny fraction of people according to social science. But sociopaths, it can be a choice of free will. So we will talk about that. How some people choose using their free will to be sociopaths. Those are the people I really have a problem with. That is how I see Elon Musk. That's how I see the dynastical families. I'm honestly afraid to even say their names. But you can Google dynastical, dynastical, dynastical families, and you'll find them all. And you'll say, oh yeah, I've heard that name before. Again, once we can't go all the way up anymore, we're still controlling the weight. See, I can't get to 90 degrees, but I can control the weight. And that's how you know it's a safe weight. And we're just gonna keep going till we fully cook the shoulders. Because when we come back around for the third and final set, they'll be ready to go again. All right, let's talk about sociopaths, and then we'll do some triceps. Okay. Who is they? All right, it's critical thinking exercise number 1. Who is they? When we say they want to divide us, they're trying to hold us down, they fund all the politicians, it's the oligarchs. What is a sociopath? There's a simple definition. A child can understand. A child can understand what a sociopath is. A sociopath, literally the test for it is a psychologist would show you a slideshow of pictures. It'd be a meadow of green grass, it'd be a mountain, it'd be a car, it'd be a book, it'd be a speaker, it'd be a dumbbell. The next one will be somebody getting their finger smashed by a hammer, or stung by a bee, getting hurt in some way. A sociopath registers nothing when they see that. People with empathy, most people, they have a reaction. They're like, ooh, because they picture themselves in that situation, okay? The sociopaths who are born that way, who it's like they were raised with love, they were raised with all their needs met, they didn't have any trauma, but they still have that flashcard reaction where they have no reaction to somebody being in pain. That's like less than 1% of human beings, okay? But in our society, we see a ton of people, a whole group of people who don't care when another human being is in pain. That is sociopathy that's taught, learned, indoctrinated. In the right wing, they use religion a lot. Some religions teach vertical morality. Vertical versus horizontal morality. Morality can be vertical or it can be horizontal. The same way I gave you an easy way to understand sociopath, I'm gonna give you an easy way to understand vertical morality and horizontal morality. Very easy way, especially if you ever knew anything about the Bible. In the Bible, we had Abraham commanded to kill his son. Okay? Vertical morality says, my deity, my religion, what's above me, tells me to do something, so I do it. That's my morality. Horizontal morality says, this kid is innocent. I don't care what's above, below me, anywhere. I'm not gonna hurt somebody beside me, horizontal to me, the same as me. That's the difference between vertical and horizontal morality. Some forms of Christianity, Jesus in the Bible teaches horizontal morality. He says the golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. That's horizontal, okay? Other parts of the Bible say you do what God says no matter what, even if God says to kill your own kid. And in the right wing, we have a lot of vertical morality, so they choose to be a sociopath to not care about the life they're commanded to take, or kidnap, or falsely imprison, or discriminate against. They don't care because they're taught vertical morality. So we are going to teach what Jesus taught, which is horizontal morality. Okay, let's clarify this. Oligarchs want vertical morality. Jesus and community wants horizontal morality. When I say vertical morality to oligarchs, and horizontal, Jesus, community, we'll say sages. Any of the good prophets, any of the good religious teachers taught horizontal morality. The alt-right pipeline is teaching vertical because, okay, the alt-right serves the oligarchs. They think if I'm a good enough boy to daddy, if I'm a good enough boy to the boss, if I lick those boots hard enough, one day he'll make me an oligarch too. Or they think, I don't even care if I'm an oligarch. If I could just sniff the oligarch's pants, if I could just sniff their shoes, if I could just be in their presence, if I could be their driver, if I could be their lawyer, if I could be their trainer, you know, that's fine for me. But still, you serve people who are sociopaths. Let's just go ahead and put oligarchs with sociopaths. Do it in blue so you know that they're the same thing. Sociopaths. Sociopaths. Oligarchs. Sociopaths. Vertical morality. Community of love and liberty based on what Jesus taught. Horizontal morality is empathy. I know this board's getting crazy, but hey, there are no rules here. We're just here to talk. We're here to work out. We better get our triceps going. Do you think these oligarchs hate us and see us regular focused third class? It's not, okay, so sociopathy is not even about hate. It's about they literally don't care. Do you hate ants? Nah, you don't hate ants. Most people don't care about, they don't think when they're walking down the sidewalk, am I stepping on an ant? It's not even in your thoughts. But if you can use ants or cattle, you know, or whatever to make you money, then you might care. So that's how they care about us. The oligarchs it's not even, they don't hate us, they need us. They need us to be their cattle. They need us to produce for them. So it's not that they hate us, they are sociopaths towards us. They don't care. You know, the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. If you don't know what apathy is also the opposite of empathy. A-P-A-T-H-Y. The board's getting full. They have apathy for us, okay? Do you think their priorities are so focused on power that they don't even consider how we are affected by their actions? They definitely consider how we're affected by their actions, in that they're trying to exploit us and harvest us. They need maximum output out of us while giving us the smallest that they can. And it's like, well, how are they? These people are in charge of the money. Our money is not based on gold anymore. 1930s is when that stopped. Our money is based on how much these people want to print and put into the monopoly game. It's literally printed, y'all. It's printed. Sometimes it's not even printed. Sometimes the United States government literally just creates money inside of a computer. It's called fractional reserve banking. Look it up. Fractional reserve banking, United States Federal Reserve. You put those keywords in, you will find all you need to know about that. You guys want to talk about that, ask questions about it, let me know. I got you. But without going down the rabbit hole right now, the oligarchs are in charge of how much they print. How much they print determines how valuable the money is, okay? So they can give you more money but they print so much that what they give you more actually buys less. That's inflation we're all experiencing right now. So you could make more money, they could give you more money, they could raise the minimum wage, but they could print so much in total that even by giving you more, you can now buy less bread and milk with that same amount of money. But they keep so much of what they printed that they outrun inflation. Another thing that they do is they create the money and then they give it back to the government at a negative interest rate. So they create something out of thin air. Through what authority? Through what authority? By our tacit, complicit submission. Because they have us tuned like a machine, we don't have time to pay attention. We don't have time to learn these very simple concepts. And we don't have a platform where we can speak freely, because if I wanted to tell you guys what to do about this, I can't tell you on YouTube. This channel will be shut down yesterday. Okay? Without taking any sponsors or anything on this channel, I can talk about these things and not worry about Whole Foods or Adidas or, the Buffs Club or Breckenridge Brewery taking their sponsorship away. I'm never going to take a sponsorship so we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. However, if I tell you how we win, you can figure it out yourself. You don't need me to tell you. We talk about it enough and the solutions will become obvious. But I would love to just lay out a whole plan for you, but I can't do that on YouTube because these people own YouTube, they own Google, and the people who own Google and YouTube serve these people. They aren't these people. These people print the money, they control the money, they tune society, and when Avanti says, do they even consider how we're affected by their actions? Oh, they very much consider it, but they consider, how can I keep these cattle producing for me without revolting or without dying? They need us, they need our energy, they need to harvest us. They think with AI and robots, they're not going to need us so much. So then the calculus kind of starts to change, because now if we're just taking up space and they can get everything they got from us, from AI and robots, it could get very dark. We won't go there right now. Which is worse between oligarchs hating us and seeing us as third class, or not even considering us? It just doesn't get worse than the situation that we're in. And again, I'm saying that as somebody who's not suffering. I have a good life. I have a great life. I could play this YouTube game and already with this small amount of subscribers that I have, go out and get sponsorships in Boulder, make this a full-time gig, and just talk about Buffs football, baby. No controversy, man. Just love and liberty, talking about Buffs football. I ain't touching that political stuff. Nah, man. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get dirty with that. I like to keep it neutral. I don't want to be. I don't want to upset anybody. I would be lying through my teeth, and I'm not gonna do it, man. So what am I gonna do? I'm working out anyway. I want to build this community. It's gonna take a long time, but I do this every day. Let's see how many streams I do 365 days from today. I'm gonna miss an odd weekend. At 1:11, if the Buffs are playing at 1:30, I'm not gonna do it on those days. I'm not gonna hit this every single day, but let's see, a year from today, how many of the next 365 days I show up and do this, because this is what I do. So turning on the camera while I do it ain't no thing, and I want to talk about all of this. I don't care how long it takes to build this community. I don't care how big or small it is. I care about the quality of the people in this community, because I need this. I need young men to see that people like us love our fellow man. We are about love and liberty. We're about lifting people up. That doesn't mean you don't have accountability. You still hold yourself, you still hold your brothers, your sisters, everybody accountable. That's what this is. Our working class brother and sisters who have been brainwashed to be sociopaths by the oligarchs, we still have love for them. We still want them to have liberty, which means being freed from this brainwashing that doesn't serve them, it doesn't help them. It destroys community. So even this comes out of love for the people who have been misled. And we want to take these people back, and we want to reclaim a community of the people, of the working class, not of the oligarchs, because it's us against them. It's nothing else. Don't get it twisted. All right, let's get, we got another set of triceps. Arms straight up in the air. Keep the upper arm straight, full range of motion. Y'all see that? I can't go any farther down. You want this whole stretch. Is it harder this way? Can you do less weight? Yeah, that's the point. This also, if you're lifting weights properly, you don't really have to stretch. Well, chill out on that. If you need to know about stretching, we should talk more about it. But in short, when you lift with good forms, every muscle is going to be as long as it can be. And then good form is upper arm stays in place. We're working this tricep. The tricep contracts. Arm goes up. All right, got to count. That's one. The last one, 8. It's okay if the last one is a little bit out of form. What you don't want is a whole set of bad form and multiple sets of bad form. That's when you start putting your vulnerable joints and tendons and ligaments. That's when you start to compromise them. When you do things with perfect form, man, you can work out all day, every day, until the muscles don't have any more, and you will just get stronger. There's no reason to use ego to cheat yourself. There's no reason to use ego to hurt yourself. That's 3. That's 4. Because if you're just trying to lift a certain amount of weight without perfect form, you're a ticking time bomb. 5. 6. One more. And by ticking time bomb, I mean like, so when you see me do curls, ain't nothing moving but the bicep. If you're doing this because you want to lift more weight, you're a ticking time bomb. You see, when I do presses, it's slow and controlled. You know, if I'm just all this kind of crazy stuff to lift more weight, I am hurting myself for what? It's a matter of time. Y'all need help with fitness plans, whatever you got at home workout plans, hit me up. It's for free. I would never charge you. I'm just here to build community and help people. We got Romanian deadlifts again for the hamstrings. Romanian deadlifts for the hamstrings. I'm gonna try to get through, start moving quickly here. I was trending towards MAGA when I was young, teen, then I started listening to other perspectives and I got older and now I'm moderate. So what made you start trending towards MAGA when you were young, Avanti? What? Because I was raised, I was young before MAGA. I was raised in the George Bush era, and I was right-wing Republican, and then I liked President Obama. When I got out of the Marines, I voted for Obama twice. A lot of because of my Marine Corps experience under George W. Bush is when he was a liar. Dick Cheney was a liar. They were shameless liars. And as a kid, you don't really realize that how many liars there are in positions of power until you start to get out into the real world. And by the time MAGA came around, I was like, Donald Trump lost me when he made fun of that disabled reporter. That was way back in the beginning. And then the grab her by the you-know-what, never. But as a teen, I was completely, I was Fox News, I was Rush Limbaugh, which you might not even remember Rush Limbaugh if you're younger than me, but Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Fox News. I was all that, you know, before I went into the Marines. And I'm interested in hearing, you know, what made you attracted to MAGA, and then what kind of made you, you know, go away from that and consider yourself a moderate. I would like to know that about anybody out there. Even if you're watching this later when it's not live, let me know. And even if you are still MAGA, we can debate. You know, I'm not gonna kick you off the channel or dismiss your beliefs. I will talk about anything you want to talk about. You want to tell me, you know, that I'm stupid, this and that, tell me why. Let's talk about it. You want to tell me that I'm naive and I don't know what I'm talking about? Educate me. I'm here to listen. But I know that I will always have empathy for my fellow man. I know I will always have gratitude, honesty, and courage. And that's not going to change. But because I have gratitude, honesty, and courage, I will talk to anybody. I'll hear any point of view. I'll discuss it. I'll tell you honestly what I think. If you can't handle what I think about your beliefs, that's a whole different story. You know, I can handle whatever you think about my beliefs. I am totally okay with you telling me you think my beliefs are, you know, garbage, low IQ, uninformed, because I'll say, okay, why? Let's talk about it. I love to talk, man, as you can tell. Men, women, YouTube family. I'd be just doing these workouts by myself every day. You know, I'd rather be talking to people while I do it. Oof. I've already had a few people hit me up for the free weight loss. Actually, the people I'm working with right now are only doing weight loss. None of them are doing weight training, and they're having incredible success. 2 people right offhand that I talked to in the last couple of days. One guy has lost 30 pounds, and his wife, who I've been helping both of them, she's lost 12 pounds, but she doesn't have that much more to lose. She's already where she wanted to be. She just wanted to lose about 10 pounds. She's already lost 12. This other man lost 30. I think they've both been doing it for about 2 or 3 months. And so, quickly, if you need help losing weight, gaining weight, whatever, hit me up for free. I will help you. There is 0 exercise required. Let me make that clear. You do not have to do one single exercise. You don't have to run. You don't have to walk. You don't have to get off the couch. But you will have to track your calories. Oh no, track my calories. I'd rather do anything. No, man, it's not even hard. I'll show you 3 different apps to choose from. I was gonna create an app that went sideways. That's a whole nother story. But I have several that I would recommend. I'm not trying to sell them, but I'm just saying, you need some advice. You don't have to eat certain foods. You can eat any food you want. But when you track your calories, what will happen is you'll load up French fries and you'll be like, oh, to stay within my daily budget, I can only eat 100 grams of French fries. That's not that much. And you switch it to mashed potatoes and you can eat 3/4 of a pound of mashed potatoes for the same calories as the French fries. You're like, I love mashed potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna eat the mashed potatoes. And actually, I just want 200 grams, so now I have some left over to put towards something else. That's how it works. And it's not hard. You might just need somebody to hold your hand through it and show you, which I'm here to do for the community for free. Everything in this community is free. All we want is more people to spread not the channel Love and Liberty, but actual ideas of love and liberty in your life where you are, whoever you have influence on, in your workplace, in your community, to your kids, spreading these ideas of love and liberty that come from gratitude, honesty, courage, and empathy. Okay, so losing weight is one thing. Building muscle is just a completely different thing. If I had only lost weight and not built muscle, I would just look very different, and that's fine. You look however you want. For me, I get to eat more food. I get to eat more food when I work out. So I work out basically so I can eat more food. And I like the things that come with getting stronger. Okay, let's, we got the Romanians. Now we got another set of rows. Avanti trended towards MAGA because I grew up without a father and my grandparents raised me and my grandfather was the parental figure, but I was still trying to find my own version of masculinity. Exactly. You went into the alt-right pipeline, and that's what it's designed for, is exactly what you just described. People who need that influence. And in 2020, when I was 14, the only ones talking about it was MAGA and the alt-right. But since then, I came up with my own version of masculinity. It still has basis in traditional masculinity, but it ain't what they preach in MAGA and very far right. Man, that's good. That's good to hear. Because that shows that people can be taken in to the alt-right pipeline, to a pipeline who's saying, this is what masculinity is, this is how to be a man. And then, start to have the honesty to say, hold on a minute. There are things, yes, that are true. There are great things about masculinity that we should celebrate, that we should talk about. We need to help young men who don't have good masculine influences as a community. We need to go to them and say, hey, I may not even be related to you in any way, but I'm here to help. If you need anything, let me know, because I want to help you, because I care about my community. I know that if you have the resources and support that you need, the world's going to be a better place for me, my family, and my kids, etc. My friends, my community is going to be served by you, not by anybody out there, not being just left to the wind without an influence, because so many of us are. And that's what the alt-left pipeline is all about, to say, hey, masculinity is empathy and courage. Like the people in the alt-right pipe, like Joe Rogan, if you ever see this, we do whatever you want to do, bro. Like there's nobody in the alt-right who's gonna out-masculine me. However you want to do it. And for me, it's all as a gentleman. There's no malice. I don't want to hurt anybody. I have empathy. But if you are masculine, you don't mind to get in the boxing ring and take some punches and give some punches. You don't mind to roll on a jiu-jitsu mat. You don't mind to have some UFC sparring where, I'm trying to think of the dude's name, but I can't. Say Israel Adesanya. Am I going to step in the octagon with Israel Adesanya? No! I'm not an idiot. There's always somebody bigger and tougher than you are. But people who are really about that life aren't really talking junk, I'm editing myself, to marginalized people. Because people who are really about that life, who are capable of extreme violence, who have seen extreme violence, those people are grateful every day that they're alive. And they don't take anything lightly. They don't want to hurt somebody, but they will train with you, and that's what I'm saying. There's nobody who's going to go out survive me in the mountains, out train me. Yes, if it's a competition, I could lose to somebody who's MAGA, who's also a great survivalist, outdoorsman, whatever. The point is, they don't have a monopoly on masculinity, and most of them, especially in this administration, are the softest, weakest, most spineless, most fearful, closeted. Like, half these Republicans are in the closet, y'all. I've been a straight man my whole life, and you know how many times I've cared about gay people? Never Why would I? Do I care who you love? I don't care. I like women. Like, I've been that way my whole life. My cousin tells me he's liked men his whole life, and I'm like, I know how that feels. I've liked women my whole life. It's not a choice, but if you were brainwashed with vertical morality that we talked about, and you believe that there's a deity who made you one way but wants you to choose to be another way, then you think the gay people are making a choice because the closeted Republican is making a choice to stay in the closet, and that's who gets mad about it. I swear every man who is upset about anything gay is 99% in the closet. I've never met a man that I thought was actually straight who gave up about what another man does. Why would I care? I have brothers in the Marine Corps who are gay. I have cousins who are gay. A lot of them will Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, any of those boys in a gentlemanly match in a ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are not trying to catch people in the street and hurt people. That's not what we believe in. But hey, if you want to get your aggression out, you want to meet up in the local boxing gym, you want to do something as gentlemen and shake hands after, we're here for it. Okay? But I'm telling you, none of us have ever cared. You know, things like that. And that's not masculinity. It's not masculinity for me to try to tell another man who to love. That's not masculine. That's weak shit, man. That is insecure. I've always had what I needed in that area, you know. Me and Mrs. Love and Liberty have been together for a long time, a very long time. But I've been, you know, since I was in kindergarten, I had my first girlfriend. That's something that I've never had to go through, and I had good role models to teach me. But the other thing was, I always genuinely loved people, and that's attractive to people. If you're with a woman or a man, whoever you're with, and you genuinely love them as a human being, and you genuinely care about them, you're not seeing them as an item or an object or something that makes you look a certain way, but you're seeing them as another human being having a life experience that is sacred, that is beautiful. You treat people like that, love will come to you. You treat people like you want to control their liberty, and people will be repelled by you. And that's why people are repelled by MAGA, but people stay with it because of this vertical morality. The type of morality that had Abraham about to kill Isaac. Okay, I know it's wrong to kill this innocent child, but someone up above told me to do it, so I'm just going to do it. That's not what Jesus said. Jesus said, treat your enemy the way that you would want to be treated. Treat your neighbor the way you would want to be treated. You know that if you're a little kid, you don't want your father to kill you, so you're not going to do it no matter what anybody says. That is morality. That's the alt-left. That's liberal. Liberal liberty. Liber. L-I-B-E-R is the root word of liberty and liberal. Look it up. L-I-B-E-R, the Latin root word. You need to know what liber is. These words are important. All right. More rows. We might only do 2 sets today. And you know what? That's fine because, let me tell you this. So we're doing 2 sets of every body part today. You only need to do 2 sets of a body part per week to keep 100% of the muscle you have. Whatever muscle you have right now, if you do 2 sets, so that means you could do this exercise once a week and nothing else. That's it. You're never gonna get smaller, you're never gonna lose muscle. You could break this up and do, you know, the upper body on one day, the lower body on another day, and have like 2 30-minute sessions in a week, and that's it. So all you need is 2 sets a week, okay, to maintain your muscle. If you want to grow muscle, once you go above 2 sets per muscle group, pretty much the sky is the limit. You're gonna grow more if you do 3 sets than if you do 2. You're gonna grow more if you do 5 than 3. You're gonna grow more if you do 10 than 6. You're gonna grow more if you do 40 than 15, okay? Per muscle group. My point to say all that is, yesterday I did 3 sets of muscle because there was less talking. We just went right through it. Today I'm probably just gonna stop after 2 sets, but because I do this every day, If I only did 2 sets a day, that would still be 14 sets a week per muscle group, which is if you're gonna do, real training and consider that you're like actually going hard, you wanna do somewhere between 10 and 20 sets per muscle group per week, okay? So the biceps would be one muscle group, the triceps would be one muscle group, the shoulders would be one muscle group, the chest would be one muscle group. If you're building, you want to do somewhere between 10 and 20 sets a week. So even if I only did 2 a day, 7 days a week, I'm doing 14. But most days I do 3, some days I do 4, some days I do 5. But again, even if if you're doing 20 per week, you're considered getting it. Like that's pretty much you're doing a bodybuilding type thing. But if you're doing 20, you're still gonna get more growth if you do 40. But back that all up. This is what's cool about fitness and health. To lose weight, 0. Don't have to do anything, but you will lose muscle. And when you lose muscle while you're losing weight, your metabolism goes down and now you can eat less food, okay? So by doing just a little bit of exercise, you get to eat a lot more food. If you only do 2 sets per muscle group per week, you're not gonna lose muscle. We're talking like 1 hour a week, y'all, to never lose any muscle the rest of your life. All the muscle you have, and then once you have a certain amount of muscle and you lose a certain amount of weight, you have energy that you don't know what to do with. You're gonna have to do something with it. You could do anything you want with it. You could get more stuff done around the house. You could do more grocery shopping. You could go on more walks, with your dog. But if you put some of it into building more muscle, so now that's just 3 sets, 4 sets, how many do you have time for? Now you get to eat more food. I love to eat, so I'm like, if I work out 7 days a week, I get to eat so much more food. I get to eat like 6 donuts, 6 huge jelly-filled donuts on Saturdays for game day. Like, y'all wouldn't believe, and then I eat pizza, like I eat whatever I want on Saturdays because I'm going hard every day, and 6 days a week, I'm staying in a very moderate calorie range. The point is, man, it may sound complicated. Once you wrap your head around it, it's really easy. I can teach you for free, anybody who needs help. And that's just kind of the different levels you can choose from. You could say, I want to lose weight and I never want to work out. I don't care about muscle. I don't get that hungry. I don't really care about eating that much. Or you could say, hey, I want to lose weight and I just want to keep muscle so that I can eat more food and not get weaker as I get older. And we're talking 30 minutes or an hour a week. I'll design a program for you for free. Or you can be like, yo man, I want to get it and train every day like you're doing. This is what I got to work with, and I'll help you too. And it's all based on science. Nothing that I do is, my own experience. I mean, I have lived this. I've done it. I've been through it. I'm 40 years old. I have a 6-pack. I can run up, a 1,000-foot mountain in about 25 minutes with a dog and a 15-pound backpack, etc., etc. But it's all based on science, like peer-reviewed medical research, that there's no gimmicks. There's no foods that are off limit. You'll just see that if you drink a regular Coke, you could have had a lot more food, and that Coke's not going to fill you up. So, you just start to make different choices. And the people that I've been helping all say the same thing. They're like, this is so easy. I just realized that food A that I already liked was so much better than food B that I already liked, but I was just eating food B out of habit. I just switched to A, and that's all I needed to do. But they chose, you make the choice. It's all about calories in, calories out. And when you add in exercise, you're just saying, now I need to account for some more energy. I gotta add in some extra calories to account for how many steps I'm walking a day. And again, apps on your phone, do this all for you. I just show you the apps. You pick which one you like, and you start using it as a tiny daily habit, and a year later, you will not even recognize yourself in the mirror. All right, we got more presses. We're gonna do one more set of presses, one more set of quad squats, and then we're just gonna call it a day, because we've already been going 30 minutes longer. I'm just gonna do these for an hour a day, but yesterday we got 3 sets done in an hour. Today we've been talking, which is good, because I'm here and I told you, 2 sets a day gets me where I need to be for my goals. But I try to put more sauce on top. The days like yesterday where I do 3 or where I do 4, more food, man, more muscle, man, more growth, man. Like, if I got the energy, why not? Today, running out of time, 2 is totally fine. If you just want to keep your muscle, you only need to do 2 sets per muscle group in a whole week. Okay, I'm doing 2 a day. You just need to do 2 per muscle group in an entire week. And you'll get to see yourself transform over the course of a year of doing that. We're 6 months, 3 months. It doesn't take long to start seeing a big difference. But more than anything, you feel the difference. You feel that energy that you just thought you lost because you got a certain age. And not really. The energy is just from carrying around weight that's not serving you. And all bodies are beautiful. I love big bodies. I love little bodies. You know, I would not discriminate. And if somebody's happy where they're at and they have happy with their energy that they have, that's all you can ask for. You know, that's great. But for me, I had lost my energy and I thought it was just gone. And my dog Pork Chop needed a lot more miles than I was able to give him when we first got him. And so when I started losing weight, I realized, oh, it wasn't that I was older and that's why I lost my energy. It was this weight I was carrying around that I didn't even realize I had gained. As in, like in the mirror, I always looked the same as my young athlete Marine self. Even though I had gained 60 pounds and I knew it, I still thought I looked good, you know? I didn't think I gotta change because I look a certain way. I thought, what am I gonna do to be able to take care of this puppy? And then watching the well off videos and seeing the boys in the weight room and remembering all my life, enjoying this. Like, I like the way this feels. You know, I like the benefits that I get from it. And I just started dipping my toe back in the water. One thing led to another. You know, that was like 2 years ago now. But the point is, growing up as a multi-sport athlete, my dad was a trainer for the Colts and the Pacers. Like, while Marshall Faulk was there, while Rick Smith, Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose were with the Pacers. Anyway, so I grew up learning cutting edge fitness, so to speak. And then going into the Marine Corps and learning Marine Corps fitness. And then getting out, I used to like to do those P90X programs. I thought I knew everything I needed to know. Man, I knew nothing. I had never learned about nutrition. I didn't know about calorie tracking. I didn't really know. I would always burn out, you know. I would do like 3-6 year-long spurts where I'd work out 4 or 5 days a week every week. And then my body would get so tired because I was working out so hard over time that I would, you know, lapse a month, 2 months, 6 months, till in corporate America, it led to like a 10-year lapse where I was just like, I'm working so much, I don't have time. And then I started thinking, to get back in shape is gonna take so much effort. I just don't have that energy. And so what I learned in the last couple of years is it does not have to be hard. Everything that I learned growing up is how to do the most extreme versions of fitness. And that is not what lost me 60 pounds and got me back in shape. I made videos about that, so we don't have to talk about that. That's the Love and Liberty podcast series. Pretty much laid out everything that I did in those videos, but I'm always here to answer questions or help anybody for free. All right, y'all, so see the chat here. What Avanti is saying. Driving to Cincinnati from Kentucky, 2-day trip. Trying to play semi-pro football, getting in shape. Right on, man. Awesome. All right, y'all. So, y'all gonna see every day, same thing. Sometimes we'll go to the park, we'll switch it up a little bit, but more or less, I'm gonna be showing up here every day to show you guys what I do. We're gonna talk about real stuff, you know, to edit myself, real-ish, every day. Anything you guys want to in the chat. The purpose is to build a community around real men, because real men have gratitude, honesty, courage, empathy, and real men want to build a community based around love and liberty for all people. All right, y'all, that's the stream for today. Yo, we'll see you again tomorrow, 1:11 p.m. Mountain Time. Love and liberty, wherever you are from Boulder. We love y'all. Peace.